So guys, medical tourism in India is becoming increasingly popular because of two main reasons. Number one, we have great healthcare here. Number two, the treatments here are way cheaper if you compare them with other countries like the US, UK, Canada, or the Gulf countries. So if you are an NRI and you want to get a treatment done, it's best that you buy a health insurance plan from India and get your treatment done here. So, how do these plans work? What are the things you should keep in mind? Are there any terms and conditions? What are the premiums like? All of these questions will be answered in today's session, so please stay tuned. Today on our show, we have Sonam Arora, who's currently leading our NRI health insurance business at Policybazaar. Welcome to the show, Sonam.
Thank you so much, Simran.
Now, before we begin our show, I would also like to tell you guys that we've also attached an article for NRI health insurance in the description box. So in case you guys have any queries, you can go read up there and also explore health insurance plans. So Sonam, my first question to you is, why should NRIs purchase health insurance from India?
So see, this question comes a lot. Like if you're staying outside country, like we're not staying in India, then why do we buy health insurance and coverage here? There are multiple factors to do that. Number one, primary being, since your family is here, you're more or less related here, and expenses and medical cost as well as premium cost, healthcare premium cost is way cheaper in India as compared to outside countries. Like no matter whether it's any Gulf country or USA, Canada or Europe, the costs can be really high there. Like whether it's premium cost, obviously because the medical cost is higher, the premium is higher. So eventually like smaller doctor visits and everything can be done there. But major surgeries and major expenses that you have to incur in healthcare, you should be coming back to India and doing it because of two primary reasons. One is being cost-wise, it's cost-effective, and second, the quality of healthcare is also improving in India. If you see, medical tourism in India is at its surge right now because people want to come back to India because the quality is better, the prices are lesser, so, and obviously you have connects here, you have your family staying here, so you would want to come back to India. So one of the reasons is that cheaper healthcare cost, cheaper medical cost. Other thing is, even though you're staying outside, you have frequent visits in India because your family is staying here. So if in case an unforeseen expenditure comes out, when you're here in India, you should be covered here as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a coverage in foreign country and you're getting covered there. But since you're frequently visiting India or eventually planning to come back to India, so you should be buying your health insurance here so that you have coverage here as well. Third thing obviously is you're staying there, you're far away from your family or your parents, your family is living here. So it's important that you have them insured in India.
Yeah.
Because if they're staying here, they need some insurance coverage here to avoid expenses.
Correct.
Also, you do have options like global coverage for your family living in India. So if you're not comfortable, like since you guys are staying far apart, if you're not comfortable getting them treated in India because you're not there, you can call them there and you can get them treated in your residing country. So there are global coverage options also here. So yeah, these are one of the few reasons why you should be buying coverage in India along with the coverage in your foreign country.
And Sonam, are there any terms and conditions in place for NRIs purchasing health insurance from India?
See, more or less same ही है because आप Indian coverage ले रहे हो. Like even if you're living there, you're buying coverage here in India. So whether it's an NRI or a non-NRI, an Indian resident altogether, the terms and conditions are more or less the same. A few documents that you might need to submit for like from proof point of view that you are an NRI, address proof of the foreign country or a declaration. So certain insurers have certain demands like in terms of documents, but terms and conditions while buying insurance in India is the same as for an Indian citizen.
All right, Sonam. And now my next question to you is, can NRIs purchase a health insurance plan from India if they already have a foreign policy?
That's a good question. So absolutely yes, you should. That's what I'm trying to say here. Foreign country, when you're residing there and you have expenses to incur there should be a cover there. But whenever you're traveling to India or whenever you plan a surgery in India when you want to come back here, you should be covered here. So you can simultaneously have both the insurance. Obviously, it's not overlapping, but foreign coverage or foreign country coverage gives you coverage there, and India, when you buy health insurance in India, it's giving you coverage in India while you're traveling in India. So yes, you can.
Sonam, you mentioned that the medical expenses abroad are way more expensive if we compare them to India, right? What's the exact difference?
So in general, on an average, you can say like India is like cheaper than other countries, whether it's Gulf, USA, Canada, UK, Europe, any country. On average, it will be like 5x more there.
Oh.
But it can depend from surgery to surgery. So for an example, if we talk about heart bypass surgery, so it will approximate cost in India would be 2 to 5 lakhs, depending on whether you want a stunt or not. But the same cost can be approximately 20 to 25 lakhs in Gulf countries. And in USA, Canada, it would be approximately around 1 crore. It can go up to 1 crore depending on the criticality of the situation. This is one of the examples, and there are transplants. Like transplants are very expensive in USA, Canada region. Like for a liver transplant or a bone marrow transplant, we might have to incur expenses around 40 to 50 lakhs in India, which is approximately 2.5 to 3 crores in USA, Canada, and somewhere around 1 to 1.5 crores in UAE. So yes, a lot of expenses, like it can be 5x, can be 10x, but on average you will save up to like 3 to 4 times the cost that you'll incur in your residing country. It's not just about the major surgeries. General MRI scan, if you talk about, in our country we have to pay approximately 8 to 10,000 for a general MRI scan. The same thing would cost approximately 60,000 USA, Canada. And general scans and OPDs are very expensive in Gulf regions also. So you might have to pay approximately 1 to 1.5 lakhs for an MRI scan in UAE. So it's that expensive. So yeah, people don't come here looking for an MRI scan, but what is more logical for them is, if you have a bigger surgery, as I mentioned earlier, you should be planning it in India because the quality is better and the cost is better. So it's a win-win situation for you.
So Sonam, health insurance in India has tax benefits, right? Is it also applicable for NRIs?
Absolutely. So there is a catch there. So if you are an NRI and you are paying taxes out, you're earning taxable income outside in your residing country, and you are paying taxes there, then you're not eligible to pay taxes here. But in case you are earning taxable income in India and you're paying taxes here, so you're eligible to get the general Section 80D tax benefits, which is up to 25,000 to 50,000 that it ranges. So if you have a taxable income in India, you can apply for tax benefits there. Over and above this, like let's say you are not having taxable income in India and you're paying taxes there, since you're earning in the foreign country, you're paying taxes there, you're eligible for the GST that you pay on the premium amount for health insurance here. So the 18% GST that you pay for the premium, you can get it refunded or waived off. So a lot of insurance company give this option where you can get the GST refunded back. So directly your cost reduces by like 18% when it comes to GST refund. So it's either or. If you have a taxable income in India, then you're eligible for the regular tax laws, which is the 80D Section 80D benefit. If in case you're not earning taxable income in India, you're earning it in your foreign country, then you're eligible for GST refund here on the premium amount.
Sonam, what should be the ideal sum insured for an NRI, and what will be the premium for that?
See, ideal sum insured right now, if you see the expenses, as I spoke about, I gave an example of liver or bone marrow transplant. It can cost, in India itself, can cost up to 40 to 50 lakhs. So I would suggest ideal sum insured for an NRI should be 1 crore, because the cost is minimal, like when you compare to the premium cost. So if I talk about an individual who's 30-year-old, let's say, if he's buying a health insurance plan in India and he wants a coverage of, let's say, 25 lakhs, he'll have to pay approximately 12 to 14,000 premium. And if you increase that coverage from 25 lakhs to 1 crore, your premium increases by 4 to 5,000. So it'll cost you around 17 to 18,000 rupees only. So the change in premium is not much, but you get coverage up to 1 crore and you're fully secure. You get comprehensive coverage, you get all the features and all the comprehensive features that you want in the policy. So yes, ideal sum insured should be 1 crore, and the cost of that 1 crore premium would be approximately 18 to 20,000 for an individual who's like 30 years old. And if you're buying for your parents living in India, let's say the age would be around 60 years. The ideal sum insured, again, 1 crore would cost around 30 to 35,000 to begin with. And because obviously the senior citizens would have more chances of getting claims and everything, so the premium is higher. But the coverage that you get compared to the vis-a-vis the premium that you're paying has a huge difference. So yes.
And Sonam, what are the features that an NRI should be looking at while choosing their health insurance plan?
So comprehensive coverage, like we do say every time, that comprehensive coverage is very important. It can include a lot of things. So to begin with, you should see what is the cashless network in the country. So now we are we have announced, like recently IDA has announced that 100% cashless treatment will be done in India. So that solves your problem. Like all of the insurers are coming to 100% cashless network. So what are the hospital networks that the insurance company has? What is the coverage, like what is the waiting period? So let's say if you have a pre-existing disease, what is the waiting period for that disease? it can range from 2 years to 4 years for a particular type of disease and the insurer that is offering that. Then there are also global coverages, as I mentioned, for the NRI family and friends who are staying in India. They can buy global coverages as well, so you can get the treatment in the residing country of the NRI. Along with this, so one major example or one major suggestion that I would have for an NRI who's buying insurance for himself. So let's say a person staying in Dubai. So I'll give you a recent example of a customer that came to us. So he was from Dubai and he wanted to buy insurance for himself. He was again skeptical about whether to buy it or not. So we did give them the benefits that I've mentioned earlier. But his point was that why do I spend so much? Because I plan to come back to India after 3 years. Like, I have my job running here, and so I'll buy it when I'm coming there. And he had diabetes. So what my suggestion would be, since you should be buying a cover, as I mentioned, so he went up for 25 lakhs cover. So you have 2 to 3 years waiting period as it is in diabetes. You can obviously reduce it, but you'll have to pay more. So he need not do that. So you should start the coverage right away, so that at the time when you're planning to come back to India, your waiting periods are exhausted and you're covered from day one. Along with that, he's right. Why do I pay so much premium for the 3 years when I don't want treatment in India? So there are a lot of deductible and copay options that you can go for. So you can voluntarily reduce your premium amount, since you know you are going to barely claim within that 3-year period of time. And even if you do, you pay certain percentage or certain amount from your pocket, you'll have to pay like 30 to 40% lesser premium in that case. So chances of getting a claim is rare. Even if you do, you can afford that much amount for once or twice. You pay that premium for 3 years, and once you come back, you remove that deductible and copay option while renewing your policy. So you will have 100% coverage from there, and your waiting periods would be exhausted, and you can get the coverage going forward once you've moved in. So there are a lot of features that you can look for. Cashless networks ho gaye, there is deductible copay options, there is riders, a lot of riders that can help you with like OPD cover. So one more thing, as I would like to mention from NRI perspective, is an NRI customer who's coming to India, you know that OPD expenses outside are very dental treatment, ENT, all of that is really expensive outside foreign countries. So like my sister is staying in USA, so whenever she's planning to come, 2 months in advance, she'll book all the appointments because it's way cheaper here. You get all the checkups done here. So a lot of insurance plans now give add-on riders or as part of the base plan OPD coverage as well. Yeah. So that is very relevant for NRIs, because when they're planning to come back to their home country, that is India, they book a lot of these because again the cost matters a lot. It's 5 to 10 times higher in their residing country. So that is also relevant. Like OPD coverage is also one of the factors that you should look for. So overall, all in all, I would say comprehensive coverage plans with cashless networks in your relevant cities and in your relevant hospitals is very important too for the person to buy.
Sonam, now we'll move to our next segment. We have some questions from our viewers, so let's look at them.
Sure.
The first question is, can I undergo knee replacement surgery in India if I'm living in the US and I've purchased health insurance from India?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, you can have planned treatments in India, because that can be, for example, you asked about knee replacement surgery. Average cost in India for a knee replacement surgery would be approximately 4 to 5 lakhs, which can cost up to 10 to 12 lakhs in UAE. Can cost up to 20 lakhs also in USA, Canada. So yes, you should absolutely, if you're planning to do something like this, you can plan your treatment in India, you can buy the coverage here, and you can undergo the surgery here and pay here and get covered here. So that's like one of the best examples. Like, yes, you should. In fact, you should is what I would recommend.
The next question is, can you please explain the application process for NRI health insurance and the required documents?
Right. So as I mentioned, more or less the process and terms and conditions are same. There are certain documents, yes, that an NRI would have to submit as a proof that you are an NRI. Like for example, every insurer would ask for a declaration, a self-declaration that you are an NRI, and also a proof to back that declaration. Maybe address proof or your passport. Depends on insurer to insurer, but majorly passport or address proof is what they ask for. Also, an add-on is if you're wanting GST refund in your policy, there are certain more documents that are required there, because the criteria is that you need to pay from your NRE account. If you want GST refund, the refund will only be applicable if you're paying from your NRE account. So along with the documents that you have to submit, which is the NRI declaration form, plus any address proof that you have there, plus the passport, you'll have to share the bank statement of your NRE account. So overall, it would be an address proof, a declaration, a passport maybe in some cases. And if you're going for GST refund, they'll ask for your bank statement of 3 to 6 months, depending on insurer to insurer, yes.
Sonam, the next question is, are PED conditions covered under NRI health insurance plans?
So yes, you can cover PEDs, but there are waiting periods. So अगर आप एक PED को cover करना चाह रहे हो, आप आज insurance लेते हो, so there are waiting periods of up to 3 to 4 years. Obviously, there are riders where you can cut it down to 1 year, let's say, but you'll have to pay extra. But PEDs are covered in health insurance.
Last question for the day, Sonam, is can NRI health insurance policies be purchased for family members who reside in the home country?
Yes. So as I mentioned, this in fact, we get a lot of customers who come buying for their family and like parents and your spouse living in India because they're far away from there. So they don't know whether they'll be there at the time when they're facing that emergency. So they do come here to get covered, their family members who are staying in India. They get Indian coverage, they get global coverage. So yes, you can buy health insurance with Indian plus global coverage for your family members living in India.
Sonam, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really pleasant speaking with you and I've learned a lot.
Thank you so much, Simran. It was a pleasure coming here. Thank you.
If you have any other questions about NRI health insurance plans, please go to the description box, click on Ask PB and leave your comments there.